Now, just in case you feel creative.
Well, I find it important to get it to the right temperature first because I don't like using cold water when I wash my hands. But, you know, I get a nice little saturation here. Actually, I do think it's important you all know how to wash your hands correctly. So we can run through the steps here. First, you're going to want them to be a little wet so that way your soap can get all sudsy. Get some nice squirts in there and make sure you rub it up. This isn't enough, okay? You really gotta go there, you gotta go in between the fingers. Make sure you get your thumb too. I don't know if you guys forget about that. Your fingernails, they're gross. Scrub them, both sides.
I don't need it.
Okay.
I don't need it, buddy. And I'm glad you're
wearing a
wearing
helmet. Yeah, you told me to be prepared with a helmet, so I'm ready. Things sound like they're going to get rough in the kitchen. I'm prepared.
I don't know. You might be banging your head against the stove.
Are you about to cook with us? I see you're wearing your chef uniform.
Well, you know, this is an important day. It's our fourth one.
We made it a month.
I don't have to be my grubs, you know. So how you doing, buddy? What are you drinking?
Just, hey neighbor, we're going with Gans's today.
Yeah, that a boy.
Classic.
Here too. Not quite sure what I'm drinking.
Some vino.
Yeah, Andrew Peace, Masterpiece, a Syrah.
There we go.
And
Fine
it's only
choice.
it's only 4:30 in the afternoon here, so
That's
a little before the 5 o'clock tipper. Well, today's dish is going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites. I've made it a lot over the years. There's a lot of different. What I like about this dish today is you can really change it up with ingredients you might have left over in your fridge. And it's kind of a good base for a lot of different adventures that you can come out of this one recipe.
sweet.
So are you ready to go, my brother?
Pan's getting hot. We should be good to go in like 30 seconds.
It doesn't have to get too hot. I mean, it doesn't have to be smoking hot. Now, let me see the size of the pot you have. Because everything's going to be cooked in one pot.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That's plenty size.
We figured it would work.
Yeah, I was just going to say, plus you can see inside of it really well.
We got all our
right off the bat, you might want to just get the salt pork in there.
Okay.
And if you see that in a recipe, it's kind of an old ingredient. You don't see it too often, but they still sell it in all the stores.
Is it fatty enough that we won't have a problem, or should I add some oil to the pan?
I don't know. Let's see. I mean, that's why you don't cook it at a really high temperature right at this moment. So throw the salt pork in there. It'll start to render, which it basically just means you're going to cook out some of the fat that's in it. But that salt pork is a big part of old world cooking. Salt pork was the main ingredient to get some of that fat into whatever you were cooking.
I say when you told me, but when you added it to the recipe, the only time I'd ever seen this before was actually down by Philly. Like, is it this what they make pork roll egg sandwiches with in Jersey?
That's
Like
right.
a big New York and Jersey thing.
Yeah, I remember that. But I mean, as I said, that was a worldwide thing. A salt pork as a first ingredient to render down and get the fat out of it to cook with.
Yep.
It's basically bacon.
Yeah,
you know?
I was when I brought it in, it was like just a giant thick cut.
It's just a big
just a block
chunk. But did you notice that most salt pork has skin on it? That's the outside of the pig.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was a thick layer of fat, but that was probably just
it's the layer of skin, and you want to cut that off because you're gonna. I like leaving the salt pork in the dish, because it's like little pieces of bacon.
Yeah, I was gonna say it reminds me of like a pancetta or something.
Well, yeah, I mean it's pretty close to that. This is more of the fattier end of the belly. It's the belly.
The belly of the beast.
Yeah, not a lot of fat on it, a lot of meat. That's a meaty salt pork.
You should have seen the full
Where
thing.
Did you buy that? Where did you buy? That's great. No, you want that. Well, actually, we wanted the fat, so you might want to put a tablespoon of oil in there, just a squirt to get it going.
All right.
I
can do that.
You still have to.
We're gonna bring back our trusty sock.
I was just gonna say nothing like a little Nike oil.
And now it's sizzling.
So it starts sizzling. So what's going to happen, though, those ingredients, the oil's going to come out, and like in bacon, and we're going to make a roux in there. We have some other ingredients. We'll throw those in after that salt pork starts to cook up a little bit. The idea is to cook it down until it's kind of crunchy.
Okay.
And then we can start throwing some items in there. But it is kind of the base of the flavor profile in this dish. It's not the overwhelming one, but it's got that real strong flavor that is very New Englandy. So if you start smelling it, you're seeing it cooking around, you can just use a wooden spoon. In this kind of dish.
Way ahead.
I wrote it down. Hey,
I follow instructions really well.
You're good. You're good. So it's starting to sizzle.
Yep.
And some of the fat's coming out.
Yeah, the smaller pieces are starting to cook down. The bigger ones are still
to the bacon part.
Looking a little hammy.
Yeah, basically it's a piece of bacon, but as I said, it's the fat end because they want, but you got one with all meat.
I swear there's salt pork on it.
There's a little bit of, did you cut the fat off?
Some of the skin I had tossed, but not all
the
of it.
Skin, the skin's fine.
Yeah.
You want to make sure.
I didn't trim it aside from that. I just left it.
No, I didn't say trim, so that's good. So you did follow the directions. Let's see. It's looking good. Well, now you can throw the celery, onions, garlic, red pepper, and carrots in there.
Celery?
So everything is all chopped.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Onions, garlic, carrot.
And you can put that heat up a little higher. What's it at right now?
Now
Medium?
It was on medium, but I just turned it up.
You can kick it up a little bit. You want to saute up these vegetables in that oil.
The corn in there too?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet. Just shredded carrot, red pepper, garlic, onion, celery, and the salt pork.
Yep.
So you want to swirl those around. You want to make sure that you're cooking those, sweating those out, but in the oil. So that's why I wanted a little higher, so we make sure that oil's.
I'll add a little more. It looked like it was soaking up.
Yeah, not too much, but yeah, as I said, traditionally salt pork is a lot more fattier than the one that you had. They do cut it up, and sometimes you'll get part of that get close to the bacon end of it. That they use for bacon more the end of the brisket there. So that's good, but it's pork. And so you swirl those around, get them cooking, and tell me what's going on. How you doing today?
Well, we should probably start with why we're here again, because we keep forgetting these days.
You know what? Let's tell the folks while we're here. Well, let's tell them where you are. Maybe they don't know.
I'm in Rhode Island. I've been riding out the lockdown in Cumberland where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
as everybody knows, for those viewers that have stuck with us since the beginning, we were trying to figure out how to give back to those that are being affected by COVID-19. A big, I guess, area of work / expertise that me and Rock both value very strongly is the culinary industry. Rock went to Johnson & Wales, so we partnered up thanks to some networking connections, and we are trying to raise money for the Rhode Island Hospitality Relief Fund.
That's good. So how's that looking in that pot?
It smells great.
Are those vegetables starting to? They don't have to be browned up.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some liquid coming out.
Well, that's good and bad. We don't want them sweating too much. I want that oil.
I wouldn't say it's too much. I mean, it's not a wet pan at the bottom, but there's definitely onions are giving off some juice.
Okay. Well, we're gonna make a roux.
Okay.
And that fat that's in there is what's needed. Oh, that looks good. Let's go ahead and put the flour in right now.
Okay.
And that's going to soak up any liquid that's in there. We're going to move that around a lot. Just kind of spread it around. That way that a roux is equal parts fat. So it could be butter, it could be oil. In this case, it's the oil from the salt pork and the little oil you put in there. So equal amounts. If it's too dry, you might add a little more oil to it because, as I said, that salt pork from the original look of it wasn't going to give off too much fat. So as long as that's kind of looking like the flour is being absorbed, I can't really see that well. But
I mean, it's sticking to the vegetables.
Yeah, we'll put a little oil in there so then it'll energize the flour. That's gonna be basically our and that's not a sake's putting in there. That's a Nike oil bottle.
It turns out there is a bottle cap.
That's it. Trying to figure
sure,
out.
There's a bottle cap there.
Wait a minute, it's yellow mustard.
It's good for you.
So mix that around and mix that flour, and you're going to kind of cook that roux, as they call it, and move that around so it doesn't get stuck on the bottom.
Yep.
And it'll start to change. The flour will start to change color as you're cooking it. And a roux could be used for a lot of different sauces, everything from a bechamel, which is a white sauce, basically milk flavored, or a velouté, which is a stock. Which is basically kind of what we're making here, but we're making it into more of a chowder.
Ooh.
What's that, Dan?
Nicolette said, "Did you just reveal something?" We've been trying to figure out since you sent us the recipe list. My initial thought was white chili, but without beans. And Nicolette was like, "I think it's more of a soup," but we didn't know. For some reason, chowder, even though we're in Rhode Island, did not come to mind.
And you said it wrong too. It's chowder.
Chowder.
If it is, it's going to be a chowder. Come on over here. So only for about 3 to 5 minutes we do the flour bit, because the more you cook it, the darker it gets.
I was going to say, we're going to like a brown, like cookie kind of shade.
Yeah, we don't want it too dark. The darker, as I said, it gets, the soup will, or stock, or the chowder, or whatever you're making, will get darker. So, in days when, you bake it, and it's brown, and use it for all types of Cajun dishes, as a thickener. In our culinary world, it's used to thicken a lot of different sauces, in this case, a chowder. So now that that's all cooked up, you could add the chicken broth. Did you, get whole chickens and cut them up and make stock?
No, we weren't that fancy. I bought box stuff.
Oh, that's okay. It's cans? Or
it was a box of chicken stock, yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, add this in?
Yeah, okay. Add it in. Okay, is that 3 cups?
Yep.
Okay, and swirl it around.
Get that stuff off the bottom.
Yeah, and it'll thicken the soup.
Yep.
A little bit. And don't be afraid if it feels like it's getting too thick here, because at the end we will be thinning it out with milk.
Okay. I was going to say, as of now, it doesn't seem too thick.
No, it's chowdery. That's where you want it.
Yep.
So bring that around and let it come to a quick boil, and then we're going to turn it down a little bit, because the other ingredients we're going to add are, things that you don't have to worry too much about, except for the next ingredient. So make sure that comes up to a little bit of a boil.
Yep. I just turned it all the way up to high, so.
And as you're doing that right now, Dan, you could throw in that chicken.
I don't understand why we had
So while that's going, Dan.
Yep. It's thickening up.
Yep. So now you get to add the corn.
Okay.
The Worcestershire sauce.
Yep.
Hot sauce. What kind of hot sauce did you get?
Cute. Say cute. Say cute.
Cute. I don't know. Something that was in Nicolette's fridge.
Hot sauce. Fresh thyme.
I was gonna say.
Looks nice. How about some white pepper?
Yeah.
A little bay leaf. Yep, just put the whole leaf right in. We'll take it out later, but it gives a nice little fragrance. Now blend that out really well together.
Yep.
Now how's that chicken going?
Starting to cook.
Good.
It never got to a boil, but I think we're still on high.
So you know what we're going to do right now?
What's up?
We're going to add the milk.
Okay.
But then we'll let this sucker simmer. Add how much you got there? 1 cup? Add a half a cup first, and then blend it around. See how loose it gets. Blend it around. Then you can add more if you need to.
Okay.
Make sure you blend it really well. Hey, Dan, was that 3 cups of stock you put in?
3 cups of what?
Stock?
Yeah.
You put 3 in?
Yep.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a little more if you think we should add it.
So you're probably going to need the rest of that milk, so you can put the milk in, the other half. All right. Give that a swirl. Bring it up to a little bit of a boil. Make sure that chicken's cooked. And if anyone can guess by now, what do we make, Dan?
Chicken chowder.
Chicken and corn chowder.
Should I cover this? Is that the...
No, you don't have to cover it. Just keep an eye on it. You want it to come to a little bit of a boil?
I'm waiting.
Can you tell me how thick it is?
Yeah. It was
okay.
Thick, it was thicker before, but I'm sure it'll thicken up.
Well, once it comes to a little bit of a boil,
yep.
Yeah, it'll thicken up a little. You might have to add a little more milk.
Okay, we have more stock too. It's up to you what you want us to use. We got both. Did you hear me?
No. Good. I can hear you. I just can't hear you.
Okay, well, I said we have more stock too if you want us to add that.
You can put a little more stock in there.
All right.
Just to thin it out, and then you can bring it to a boil. Boil it up. Somebody asked if you could use this for, say, a chicken and corn pot pie. That would be awesome. You could buy some puff pastry already made. Lay that inside of a muffin tin. Put this inside. Make sure it's all covered with a top on it, and bake it. Oh yeah, but you don't want to thin it out as much. If I was going to use it for pot pie, I wouldn't put the milk in. I would just keep it real thick. And that's looking good, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's looking good.
It looks good to me.
So how's that? Is it coming to a boil yet?
Yeah, just it's like
you don't want to roaring boil. You just want
it's just starting.
the chicken to cook. Okay, I see some little bubbles. That's looking good. Good, you can stir it. You don't want it to stick to the bottom because there's milk in there and that has a tendency to stick sometimes. Ah, that's looking damn good. Is it thickening up a little more, Dan, as it cooks?
Yeah, a little bit. Adding the stock was definitely the right move. It was.
Well, that's okay. You could always thin it out if you had to, but only if you need to. I mean, at the end.
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
We'll let it thicken more.
No more playing with your food.
Okay.
I like this dish because you can add anything you want to it. I mean, you can go if you had leftover beef or some fish. So check that chicken first off before you taste anything. Make sure the chicken's cooked. So pull up a piece of chicken and check it out. Make sure it's done. Is it alive? That's that.
After you.
Does it look cooked? Okay.
Yeah.
How about me?
You want some?
Mm.
We're cooked through.
Is it cooked all the way through?
Yep.
If it wasn't, you'll be dead in 10 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay, no big deal. So how's the flavor? Does it need a little more salt? It's the best time.
It needs salt.
So what do you think there, Dan the man?
I added salt.
Need a little more salt, okay?
Yeah, I just added some.
That's what you want to do at the end. You test seasoning at the end, not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because the longer you cook it, especially pepper, when you put even black pepper, if you put it in there, if it's good quality, freshly ground black pepper, the more you cook it, the more intense the flavor profile will get in the dish. So it could be really hot all of a sudden.
Thicken it up.
Okay.
That
will thicken up if you boil a little bit more.
Okay.
And then the chowder will be done.
All right.
You want it to coat the back of the spoon.
Yeah, it's not doing that yet. Still dripping.
So that'll happen when you boil that up a little bit.
Okay, it's starting to go.
So you have a soup bowl. We're gonna garnish it up too, right? Little cheese, little dill.
Yeah, we do.
Dill.
You can wait. Once that comes to a boil, Dan, the sucker's gonna thicken right up again.
Okay.
Or back up. So that's good.
It's starting to get there.
Yeah, it'll thicken. That'll be good. And as I said, I wanted to share a little tip for my corn chowder making days, especially from Connecticut, Rhode Island, that area, when corn is available. And I sure hope it is this year. I like using the Silver Queen, butter and sugar. And what I'll do is I will take the raw stalk of corn, the whole ear, and I'll cut all the kernels off.
Here, you want to hold
And then I'll get that chicken stock. I'll put the ear without the kernels in it into the stock and then bring that to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, and then let it simmer a little, you're going to have like real strong corn infusion into that chicken stock. And it really makes a big difference when you're making this dish. Because what it'll do is it just really amplifies that corn. And then when you throw that corn in there, that's going to release, because it's starchy, and when it cooks, it'll release sugars. And oh my gosh, I mean, around our house in Connecticut, we used to get the butter and sugar Silver Queen, and it was so sweet. I mean, you didn't have to cook it. It was just so dang sweet. So the cooking of the ear really makes a big difference in that stock. Move that around, Dan. You don't want to boil it too much. I don't want that milk to separate. So that's looking dang good.
It's getting there. Still not exactly sticking, but
Yeah, I need a little more boiling. I mean, obviously we're cooking quite quick to get through it.
yep. Yeah, how long would
And-
you usually have your chowder sitting?
Yeah, it'll cook. What you're doing is you're removing some of the liquid through steam in the boiling process, which helps thicken it. And of course, the roux is a thickening agent, and that will continue to thicken as liquid gets reduced. But the stock with the corn, that's the way to do it. Hey, I wanted to give a little toast to all the people that have donated. We want to thank you, because without our hospitality industry, we have nothing. Nothing. These people depend on a job, whether it is the dishwasher to the pantry or the cleanup crew, all the way through the chefs, all the way up to the servers and waiters and hosts. That is something where we can't live without. I think that for someone to go and donate $10, Dan, no big deal, right?
Yeah, so I think in total we're at like 450-ish raised, but Nicolette's parents just donated $100. I made a promise last week that anyone that donated $50, I would come cook for them. Nobody did it, so anybody that would like to donate $50 to the link in our bio.
To get a dinner from Dan? He's
come.
already got the soup ready.
Exactly, I'll deliver. Just
Hope you're
donate
freezing
money.
all this stuff, Dan.
Help me help you.
Hey, that looks like it's thickening up nicely.
Yep.
So if you want, usually what happens with soups like this, once they set and sit for a little while, they're good to make early, and then when you reheat them, just warm them back up. They'll be really thick. You might have to thin it out again with a little liquid. But at this stage, it's really a nice light chowder. So if you put some in a bowl, we'll finish up with the garnishing part. And you can turn it off.
Put a lid on it.
I'm watching out for you.
Put a lid on it.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
It'll be fine. That'll probably stay hot for an hour.
I'll admit that we forgot dill, but we have cheese.
Got the crowd waiting for dinner. So now you have a little garnish. What do you have there, Dan?
I just said, I don't think you heard me, but we forgot the dill, but I have a lot of asiago.
That's perfect.
All right.
So you can sprinkle a little cheese on top.
You definitely didn't hear me.
That's nice. Then we have some fresh dill. Were you able to find that?
I just said I forgot that.
Oh, you forgot it?
You can't hear me, but yeah, I forgot.
That's okay. I can't hear you. Oh, first
We
it's
gotta-
the garlic. Then it's the dill. So if you had some fresh dill, even green onion, parsley, cilantro, whatever you want, you can throw in at the end and sprinkle some on top. Gives it that little boost of flavor. But I'll tell you what, Dan, I think you did a superb job. And the camera work isn't bad either, Nicolette.
Maybe one of these weeks I'll
Thank you. I tried.
You got it, darling. Yeah, you did a great job. So, Dan, cheers.
What's that?
Did you have any clue what you were going to make when you saw the ingredients?
No, I told you. I thought we were making a white chili.
Like a white chili.
Yeah, when you put white pepper and like all these other things, I was like, it's just
Well,
chili without beans.
But you know what? You did an excellent job.
Thank you, sir. So for the people that are still here watching, there's 18 of you here. Offer still stands. You donate $50 to the link in the bio, I'll come cook for you.
If you donate over $100, which no one has done, I'll shave Dan's chest.
Yeah, there's a lot of hair here. We can make this happen.
Wow. Hey, are you going to cook shirtless?
Yeah, well, we can do that too after the shave.
A little unsanitary.
You can use my old line. I do cooking in the buff, but please no deep fat frying.
If I go a couple more weeks, I'm going to need a beard mask.
And go back around a little bit. Can you hear how sudsy that is? That's when you know you're doing it right. I don't know if it's been 20 seconds yet, but you want to make sure you go for that long, okay? This is coronavirus season. We have to take this seriously. And now that my water was kind of at the right temperature before I started, finish it nice and strong. And afterwards, don't touch your face. That's a wrap, folks.